News from the Borderland. This is EPAS Unleashed. Hi, everyone. Welcome to EPAS Unleashed. I'm your host, Jessica Navarro. Today, we have very special guests, our partners, Paso TNR. We're very excited to be discussing all things trap-neuter-return. Right now, we're coming into kitten season, so we're definitely going to be talking all about how the community can really help us during kitten season and help, El Paso TNR with their efforts. So we'll go ahead and jump right in. I definitely want to know a little bit about you all. So if we could start with the intros and then, of course, an overview about your organization.
So my name is Cindy Hernandez. I am one of the board members and fellow co-founders of El Paso TNR. Rachel, I'm going to beat you to it.
Go for
The way we started is we were volunteers at a
Okay.
previous organization, and we just thought of other ways that we wanted to manage the organization more efficiently. So we said, you know what, there's enough room for more TNR organizations. And this is where we came to light. We started in 2018. And we've been thriving even through COVID and all the hard times. We've made it through. Animal welfare is our passion. Educating is our passion. We love to just teach people what we know. The more you know, the better you can do.
Yes, definitely.
I'm Rachel, and as Cindy said, I'm a co-founder as well. We also have another co-founder, Terry Poulos. So the three of us met, ironically enough, through TNR. I had some cats that had showed up in my backyard. I've always had a little colony that I take care of somewhere. And I called and talked to Terry, and she came and helped me out. And then I met Cindy. And, we felt like nonprofit was something that was really necessary for the city as well as for a TNR organization. There's many benefits to it for the community and for the organization. And that's really where we focused our efforts. We're data driven, and so that's what we wanted to do. I am the vice president and the treasurer. I also help with volunteer coordination, which is mostly my professional background.
Okay.
So I'm familiar with that. But, TNR is life.
Yeah.
Yes. I have two new boys now at my house that have just showed up out of nowhere. So we're going to be bringing them pretty soon.
Yeah. They find you.
Yep.
They find
snip,
you.
Snip. Yeah.
Yes.
As Cindy says, if you're going to eat here, you got to go flawless and flawless. Yeah.
That's perfect. And I guess for listeners that don't know what TNR is, can we talk about what it is? I'm sure that people see, some cats in their neighborhood and they don't know about the program. So if we could talk about that.
Sure. Okay. So TNR stands for trap-neuter-return. It is humanely trapping a cat that lives outside. And we'll talk about the different kinds of cats that live outside, I'm assuming. Yes. Okay. And so we humanely trap the cats. We partner with animal services. We have other vets that we partner with as well across the city. And we bring the cats in, or our colony managers bring the cats in. And we get them spayed or neutered, vaccinated. They get an ear tip. Here at Animal Services, they get a microchip. They get a good once over medically. And then, of course, they're picked up by their colony manager, our volunteer, and they recover. And then they're released right back to where they were trapped. Yeah. There's also return to field, which is a little bit different, which is it's not our practice.
Yeah.
So we focus on the return side of things. And so that's what it's about. And we love to work with community members that manage a colony of cats, that feed them regularly and take care of them. And of course, we don't want any further overpopulation.
Yeah.
In other words, if you're somebody that's like, oh, I know where there's cats. I know where there's cats too. I don't need to find the cats.
Look around.
I need to know who is helping those cats so I can help that person. Or if we get those people that are like, my neighbor feeds the cats. Okay, how are you willing to participate? Right. No, I called you so that way you can take care of it. We want to help, but it's a community effort.
Yes.
And if you help your neighbor, it helps the entire neighborhood. But if you're just calling because you want to be a tattletale, so to speak,
or feel good about yourself that you did something like make a phone call, which we understand that, but we need your help. Not you if you want, yes. But we need the community's help. We need people to step up and say, okay, I can do this. And we have different roles within our organization, volunteer wise, that people can do. I mean, maybe they can't drive the cats or pick them up or whatever, but we have lots of other things that can be done. Make phone calls, talk to colony managers, things like that.
Yeah, I love that, because I mean, it is really, neighbors helping neighbors, that's so important in animal welfare. Because you guys can't be everywhere. You can't take care of all of these cats. Right. It is definitely something that is needed, as a community effort. So, and we talked, there are different types of cats. So I guess we can jump right into that. What are the difference between, some cats that are outside? There's owned cats, there's the feral cats, or, neighborhood cats, community cats, everybody calls them different things, but can we talk about that?
About the cat heads on our website.
Yeah. So if you were to go to visit our website, elpasotnr.org, we actually have the different cat heads to give a description of what kind of cat you're looking at. So you'll see the tomcat on there, you'll see the kitten, you'll see the owned cat, you'll see the stray cat on there. So of course, the feral cat, which could be your tomcats, which could be your skittish female or male cats, they're the cats that they don't want to have anything to do with humans. They want zero interaction. They just live there. Yeah. And they have the right to. They belong on this planet just like you and I do. Yes. And so they're just looking for food. They're just looking for shelter, and they're going to stay out of your way. Yeah.
And they're going to take care of the bugs and things like that. Free pest control.
Yes. Exactly.
And then of course you have the owned cats. The owned cats, sometimes you'll see them with a collar, sometimes you won't, sometimes you'll see and they just come and rub on your legs and you're like, where did you come from? Yes. That's typically somebody's pet. Again, if you know your neighbors, you'll get to know who their pets are, because some people let their cats out. Some cats, they just can't be confined as much as the owner tries. Yeah. And so if you get to know who those cats are, you don't have to be like, oh, I need to call a TNR organization, because for all you know, that cat is fixed. It may or may not have a collar. And then of course, there's the kittens, and the kittens come from wherever there's an unaltered mama cat and a daddy cat. And so if you see kittens in the neighborhood, you want to keep an eye out to see, there's a breeding family around here. We need to cut the source. Yeah. And leave them alone. If they look healthy, if they look very well cared for, let them be. Mom is around. There's a whole protocol on tracking the mom. The big one that is normally used is leave the kittens there, put a ring of flour around where they're at. If you see footprints in there, mom thinks they're safe. Just let them be. More than likely, she's going to come and get them anyways. I'll give an example. I was TNRing last weekend at a trailer park. I found some very plump, healthy kittens. But I'm also in a trailer park where there's 20 plus cats. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to leave you there with the ring of flour. Mom's going to come get you. Mom didn't come get them. She was probably like, hey, yeah, I can go keep breeding. Yes. Yep. So now I'm fostering those babies. No. Okay. But the good thing was, 2 days later, I did find the mom, because I kept trapping out there. I kept taking. I was like, I'm gonna find this cat. Yeah. I don't know how, but I'm gonna find her. And I did. I found her. She went into one of the traps, and I took them home, crossed my fingers, and she started caring for them. They're all orange family, so I was like, Mom, you can't deny those babies. Yeah, there's no denying.
It's your DNA, girl.
Yeah. So, but the point of it is, leave the kittens alone, right? Unless you do want to do intervention where you want to reunite them and you want to foster the family. Of course, you have to know what you're doing, especially if you're dealing with the feral mama, because you want to protect yourself. You want to protect her. There's just a lot of things that you want to be well aware of before you take on that responsibility. If not, let them be. And when they get old enough, it's time to do some TNR in that neighborhood.
Yeah. And Cindy is very skilled in the fostering side of things. That's something she does on her own.
Okay.
So, we're not rescue as far as El Paso TNR is concerned, but I'm sure people can come and volunteer with you,
Yes.
or they can foster on their own, just like we all do,
Yeah.
but as far as that's concerned, that's where the community really has to step up. We have a great learning center, as Cindy mentioned, our website, that will answer a lot of these questions for you. And Paco, who's our mascot, Paco the Vato Gato, he's one of the homies. Those are the cats outside that have the ear tip that have already been fixed. And so Paco will have a conversation with you. He'll answer questions for you, or he'll point you to the learning center where you can then go and find out more steps as what to do if you say find kittens or you see mom around or whatever it is.
Yeah, no, that's great because I mean, before I started working at Animal Services 7 years ago, I had no idea what, community cats were. And I feel like there's still people out there that don't know about TNR. They don't know that, there's laws in place. And so it's really important for the community.
Before I started, I had no idea, And my vet actually was the one at the time that told me about what it was. So, I had no clue.
Yeah. And it's not about, shaming anybody, education and, informing people. And it's really important because we don't want the community to feel, like we're trying to talk down to them or anything like that. It's just learning, we should never stop learning, as humans. So, and I know you mentioned that, feral cats, they usually, aren't very social, with people. Some people don't understand that these cats can't be adopted. So can we talk just a little bit more about that? Because I feel like sometimes the community is like, well, why can't you just take them, to the shelter and get them adopted? I don't want them here.
Yes. Or can't you just take them away? Where are they going to go?
Yes.
Why can't you adopt them?
Exactly.
Well, Cindy's afraid of feral cats.
I am.
I think we all are. We all are.
But, there's some of our volunteers
Not
that
me. I'll reach into the trap on
a hissy, swatty cat, and they're just like, oh, whatever. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Whatever you're saying.
I know. Yeah.
Typically, they won't do that to you if they're just outside. They're pretty avoidant. But once they get trapped, they can be pretty spicy. I trapped a mom one time. She was heavily pregnant, and I called her maliciosa because she was so mean.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah. But what was your question?
No, you're fine. These feral cats, they can't be adopted. I feel like a lot of people think, I've seen them here at the shelter. They're very spicy. They cannot be handled. And, even in, like you said, usually when they're out, they'll, run away. But when they're in a trap or if they're in a confined space, they're spicy. So,
well, and if you think about it, like if you had lived outside off the grid your whole life and somebody brought you into a small room, you would flip out too.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what we tell people too about, like, well, why can't you just come pick up the cats? Well, where are they going to go? Because that area they live in is their home, right? That's all they know. And so if somebody drove you out to the desert and dropped you out there where there was no food, no water, no shelter, you knew nothing about the area, you would not survive.
Yeah.
And neither will these cats. And so not only is it inhumane and against the law to dump the cats elsewhere, it's just not the right thing to do. And so that's their home. Get them fixed so that they are not traveling to mate. They're not running into car traffic, animal predators, human predators. They're living their life quietly. My colony that I had 20 some years ago, our matriarch Smiley, she's the one who got me into TNR. She lived to be 20 years old in my colony outside, so it's doable and they don't do anything wrong. They didn't ask to be
here. Yeah, exactly. They, were born outside and that's their crime, I guess, to some people. And it's unfortunate, but they have, like you mentioned, every right to live just like us. So, and, TNR really helps with that. So I know we kind of talked a little bit about like the benefits for cats. Can we talk more about that and, the benefits for the community as well? Because I know that sometimes people will say, oh, well, they spray all over the place, or, oh, they're, in my garden, or whatever, issues that they have with these cats. But can we talk about how important getting them spayed and neutered is, not only to them, but also to the community?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's important for health benefits to minimize the risk of a lot of health benefits, to include the marking of your property and even the funky smell that comes with that spraying. It keeps them calm. It keeps them more isolated to the area that they feel is safest for them. We touch base on there are bug control. They help with that. And not just that, but I feel like it could actually bring your neighborhood together. And I say that from personal experience. My neighbor catty cornered to me when I moved in 4 years ago. He sees me with my traps and he comes in. He's like, what do you do with those cages? He's like, I always see you in and out with these cages. And I told him what I do. And he's like, I don't like cats. And I was like, well, lucky for you, I moved in, because the only cats we're going to have here are the cats that are still here.
Right.
And they're going to come stay at my house. And about 6 months afterwards, he came. He's like, you know what, Cindy? Thank you for what you do. He's like, because I haven't seen kittens. He's like, and they all hang out with you. He's like, and I keep an eye out to make sure the cats that are here. He's like, I don't like them. He's like, but I want to make sure that they're all accounted for and nobody's missing.
No.
Again, it brings our community together, because it's like, at some point, even if you don't like them, you'll see like, hey, wait a minute, so-and-so is missing. You get to learn their behaviors.
Limping.
Exactly.
Yeah. I have a neighbor that tells me every time, I saw the orange one, she's limping. I'm like, she's really not, but that's fine. But I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it definitely does bring the community together. Like you're saying, you don't think about it, but I hear so many stories like that. My cat, they name them, and they have little names for them, and they help their neighbors out. So it really does bring people together. I love that you said that. We kind of talked about relocating cats, but can we talk more about like the vacuum effect? That I feel like people don't think about that.
Yeah, as I was mentioning, removing cats, not only is it inhumane, but it does create something called the vacuum effect. And what that is exactly what it sounds like. So if you remove one, something else is going to get sucked into that cycle. So removing the cats isn't the answer, because what a colony of altered cats will do, cats are communal as opposed to pack animals like dogs. So they don't move around. And so once their colony is completed, spayed, neutered, and vaccinated, then they form a commune, and they don't want the unaltered coming in because it messes up their dynamic, and they don't want the spraying, they don't want the fighting, and that's something spay and neuter does too, is eliminate the fighting, and the mating process is very violent, and it can be detrimental to the female's health, especially. So the vacuum effect happens when people remove cats. And so the best thing to do is to spay and neuter and keep everybody where they're at. And then you'll see a diminish number in your area. And I mean, we have colony managers that, see, myself, Cindy included, many of our volunteers, that the colony is complete. And I haven't had a newbie in my colony in probably 3-4 years. And so that, makes a big difference.
On the contrary, mine's starting to decline. And I wonder, like, where are they? What happened to them? But I have to tell myself, you're doing your job.
Right.
You fix them. You provide food, shelter, water, a safe place for them. And when it's time, it's time. Right. There's no control over it. And I think when I started, there was 12 cats, and I'm down to about 7 in my neighborhood. And I haven't had any new ones. I'm sure I will eventually at some point. Yeah, I know. They're coming. But it does work. And even where I used to work previously, I had a little colony there. That was probably the first colony I started. And even after I left, I continued to maintain that colony until one day they just stopped showing up. I would go every day for a month, and I was like, that's it. My job here is done. And that business closed down And that's probably part of the reason why they were like, there's no action here no more. And that lady only comes at late at night, not after work like she used to.
We're out of here. They go and find somewhere else to eat, or, maybe they find a family they like better than you.
Right. You don't give good food.
They do. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. And of course, like you're mentioning, over time, TNR is going to really bring that population down. And these people that are complaining right now, about the cats being in the area, what are some humane things that they can do to keep the cats off their, area if they don't want them in their yard, or, bothering their garden or whatever, what can you suggest to them to do?
So with every TNR job that we do, we provide what I like to call the TNR Bible. So it's a folder, and it has all of our TNR basics in it, which is also included in our learning center. But in those things are the steps to TNR, pre and post-op protocol and recovery processes. So people aren't like, oh my gosh, she's still asleep. That's okay. She's had anesthesia. Just like you. How to care for your colony, how to talk to friends and neighbors. And we have a list of humane deterrents. Because look, we get it. Some people don't want the cats in their yard, like Cindy's neighbor. My neighbor is the same way. Like, one of the cats was digging in one of her pots. And so I talked to her, and I told her, put some rocks in the pots. She's not going to be able to do that. There's coffee grounds, orange peel. There's, what is it? Coyote pea, predator pea,
the predator pea,
coyote pea, or wolf pea.
Ultrasonic deterrents that let out that high frequency pitch that we can't hear.
Yes.
And all of that stuff's available on Amazon. It's cheap. If you brew your own coffee, what are you doing with the grounds? You're throwing them out. So you might as well sprinkle them around your yard if you don't want the cats there.
It's good for your garden anyways.
Right. Yes, it is. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's solutions there. People just need to make that effort to do it.
BB gun is not a solution.
No, it's not.
Yes, and I guess if we can, that's a good segue into. Unfortunately, there are some people who harm these cats. So can we talk a little bit about that?
I'm gonna let Cindy talk about that because I get really mad.
Yeah,
so I don't want to be too aggressive because it's a crime.
Yes, it is. It is illegal to harm these animals. They have every right to be here, just as you and I do. I don't understand why you would want to shoot a defenseless animal. Not only are you putting that animal at risk, but you're putting everybody around you at risk because you don't know, even if it's a BB gun, what if you hit, what if you miss and you wind up hitting the little boy that's riding his bike right across the street? You have to be cognizant and mindful, of your surroundings. And in my experience, people that do that, they're not in the right mind frame. And then they realize later on, like, that was not the smartest thing to do.
Yeah.
And then there's consequences that come with that. Again, instead of doing that, there's alternatives as to deterrence, to keep the animals away. And if they're across the street, what are they doing to you?
Right.
They're not harming you.
Just because you don't like to see them. Right. Well, there's some people I don't like to see. But,
one of the things that really annoys me, Jessica, is when people tell me, oh, I don't like the cats because they poop and pee. And I'm like, well, the birds poop and pee. Yeah, or I don't pee. I'm like, we're mammals. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Like, what is the big deal?
Yeah.
Is that really going to ruin your day?
Right.
I'm so sorry that your life is so difficult. Right. That's going to just take you to the extreme of wanting to harm an animal. Yeah. It just makes no sense to me. It really doesn't.
And, cruelty is a felony.
Yes.
As we know now, according to the law, and in Texas has fought very hard for that. And so, be mindful of that those of us out there, we don't mess around with that. It is against the law. Poisoning, shooting, dumping, harming, inhumanely trapping, all of those things. And believe me, our team we have eyes and ears on the ground, and we have worked very hard to maintain a great relationship with the Animal Cruelty Task Force. We have great friends on El Paso PD. So nobody is above the law.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, like we said, you know, pretty much this whole episode, I mean, they're living beings. What are they doing that is so, but your garden, you know, got messed up. Okay, well, just, you know, you have those options there to keep them off your garden. It's all about putting that effort, you know, rather than resorting to doing something illegal and also inhumane. So
and
just
we're the ones that see, as you all see, the ramifications of that.
Yeah.
We see what those harmful acts do to a cat, and
yes,
it's stomach turning, and
yeah,
it's emotionally difficult. And so think about those things. You know, call us before you decide to grab your pellet gun. You know,
yeah,
Put some poison,
poison
out.
down like that. It's rampant right now, and it's just not right.
yeah, it's very unfortunate. And like you said, I mean, everybody in animal welfare, unfortunately, we're the ones who see that. And that's why compassion fatigue is so real, in animal welfare, because we're seeing everything. We're seeing, you know, these cruelty cases, these unfortunately animals, you know, didn't make it, and all that is really tasking on, you know, us as animal welfare professionals. So, and I'm sure you all see it out there, and it's very unfortunate, especially when, you know, they're not doing anything to deserve this. You know, they don't have the same voice as us, but they do have the same feelings as
and
us.
they're not rabid. They don't carry diseases that are communicable. You know, there's some superstition in our culture as well about cats and things, but they're not diseased. They're not going to run up and bite your child, you know, that or suffocate them or scratch your eyes out. They're not going to do any of those things. Just as birds are not going to land on your head and peck you to death. You know what I mean? That's just not going to happen, you know? And so, you know, those myths, we try real hard to dispel those myths, to tell people, no, this is, you know, this is good for the cat. This is good for the neighborhood, you know, and those types of things.
Yeah, and it definitely is so hard to, I guess, inform people about these different misconceptions and myths that they hear, because, you know, we see it on movies or we see it in TV, and, you know, especially with like the black cats, of course, people, they're crossing, you know, the street, that's bad luck, and you know, all these different
bring me all the black cats.
Exactly.
I
Bring them
love the
all
black
to me.
cats. They're so beautiful.
I have 3.
Yeah, and it's just, it's very unfortunate that, you know, media and just watching movies can really have that effect on a person, you know, thinking that cats are a certain, you know, way.
Yeah,
Yes,
they're not evil.
Yes.
Yeah.
I always tell people, once you own a cat, you're gonna see they're so loving, and they're so cute, and they're so smart, and they're so much easier than dogs. I have 5 dogs, but I'm a cat person at heart. I love the cats so much, and I know that my cat stayed with my parents because she hates my dogs. But you know, she was one that I found, and I bottle fed her, and you know, I started learning, you know, through her about how great cats were, because my parents weren't the most, I guess, cat lovers out there, but now my dad will feed those cats out there, and he loves them. So just with a little bit of education and empathy, I mean, you'll learn that these animals, they have feelings just like us, and they deserve to be here, you know, just
we
like
have
we do.
colony managers that, you know, first come to us and then it's, oh, my husband doesn't like them, or you know, my wife doesn't want to take care of them, whichever side of the relationship it's on, we hear that. And then in a few months it's like, oh, well, my husband built this shelter for them and built a feeding station and bought this, and he's out there feeding them every day, you know, and you do realize how wonderful they are, you know.
I think a lot of times they're just misunderstood.
Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely. And going into that, I mean, I'm sure you've had a lot of stories that are very impactful. Can we talk about those stories?
Sure. Should we talk about where Johnny and Camille came from?
Let's talk about Mr. Folks.
Mr. Folks. He's a great
Mr.
man.
Folks, yes.
He was something else. So we got a call, and actually in a request for our help. It was a hoarding situation.
Okay.
And I don't think they knew how many there really were.
No.
Cats and dogs, we knew that. So Cindy and I decided to go check it out. Cindy's great she goes and assesses the situation first, which is great because it keeps my head level, because I'm like, give me the trap, I'll go, I'll go do whatever, if I have to bang on somebody's door. Yeah. So Cindy's like, no, let's go to assess the situation. So we go, elderly gentleman, very hard of hearing. His wife had passed, and the situation just got out of control for him. Which of course we found out that the original mom was the whole reason. They didn't have her spayed, and she got out. And so then and the wife was taking care of it. I think she had gotten 1 or 2 spayed, but she passed and it got away from him.
Yeah.
And he loved having them because I think it gave him a purpose.
Yeah.
But it was filthy.
Oh.
Floors were sticky. There were no litter boxes.
No litter boxes.
He would try to contain the cats in dog crates. Just to try to, like, I guess, get a control. Like, okay, you guys are going to feed, or you guys are going to eat. Let me put these guys away. Then you guys can go. I didn't really understand his system.
Either.
But even the crates were, like, filled with gunk. Like, they had this thick film.
The kittens' paws were black, just from, not because they were black, but just because they were just living in that filth.
Dogs hadn't been groomed in who knows how long. They couldn't see. They had the dreadlocks over their eyes. And he was very grateful for our help.
Very. And he was compliant. He was hard of hearing. And so we worked really hard. We were there for 3 days, I think. Yeah.
3 days.
Turned out to be 26, 28 cats total.
One gave birth while we were
there.
No, that always happens. Huh?
So Cindy took a mom and babies, and another volunteer of ours took a mom and babies, and then I took a litter of 5 that were a little bit older. And then the rest of them, of course, we trapped, and we got TNR'd, basically. Some of them were very friendly, so we were very lucky that they were able to get adopted out. And then we fostered, the 3 of us fostered those litters and whatnot. And so 2 of them live with me. But everybody else got either the moms got, back to where they were, or they got adopted, and the kittens all got adopted out.
And we showed Mr. Folks, like, the litter box.
We went and bought him litter boxes. So we went and bought him just the plastic tubs and a bunch of litter from Walmart. He had no idea even how to scoop the litter box. And so we gave him a YouTube video, and we showed him, and we told him it had to be done on a regular basis. And so we got him all set up. The funniest thing was the last cat. Remember her?
My gosh, yes.
She went up into a chair, and she would not go into the trap. No. She was the last one. We had trapped everybody. And so we called another one of our volunteers who is just a badass.
Yes.
And she came with, like, her wildlife gloves, like, up to here, and her Ugg boots on in the middle of summer. And she's like, okay, everybody out. She kicked us all out. She went in and she grabbed her. She's fearless. I mean, I'm not afraid of feral cats, but I'm not doing that.
All you hear inside the house is, come on, mama. Come on, mama. You can do this, mama. Like, oh my God.
I know, it is like, what's happening?
And then she comes out with her in a trap. I got her.
She was a stubborn thing, you know. And so we set him all up. We even actually made a collection to have his house cleaned, because we just felt like that was the right thing to do. He had been so overwhelmed. The dogs all got groomed. The ones that could get adopted out did, and he kept a few of the animals, his favorites, you know, of course, which is fine. But everybody's fixed. Nobody's breeding. And I actually have a family member that lives on his street. And I think it was about 6 months ago, I told Cindy, I said, I saw Mr. Folks washing his litter boxes.
Aww.
You know, and I waved. I had seen him once before, and I had stopped and asked him how it was going. He's like, I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best. And so, you know, that job for us was really inspiring because it was somebody who really needed help, who couldn't do the majority of the work. He did do what we asked him to do, though, which was a huge being proactive and compliant with the protocols, because we do have protocols, makes a huge difference.
Yes.
Yeah. No, and that's great. I mean, he met you, where he could, and that's all I feel like we ask for, that you guys ask for, we ask for, we have our community and pet support team, and we hear a lot of stories, of people that are needing help, and we are here to help, and so are you all. I mean, that story is really amazing that you were able to help him out. And again, we're not here to judge anybody.
Right.
We're here to help them and to get them, where we that standard that we have for the animals. And it's just really important that we as a community don't, because I'm sure if somebody would have known about this, then they would be we have those people that are super upset, and they don't help.
Right.
So,
well, and that was the situation with Mr. Folks, was that a family member of his had reached out for help. But then when that family member we tried to pull him into the fold, he was angry at his dad, and he was angry at, the whole situation, and just walked off from the situation. And we understand, we encounter that. I mean, I don't understand, but I do, but when we walked in, I had to walk back out, remember? And I just was standing in the street crying because I just couldn't believe that.
How could you let your
family member
live like that? Why wouldn't you want to help them?
Right. Even if you don't like the animals, help your family member, but it doesn't always, and we said nothing. Like you said, there's no shame, there's no judgment. We were there for him, but we were there for the animals.
Yeah. No, and that's really great. So how can the public help you all as an organization? I'm sure there's a lot that, of course, TNRing is that's the big one.
That's the
piece, of course. But just getting involved. Again, our website has a plethora of information. Paco, we have a video of Paco, and he walks through like what TNR is and what the benefits are of it, and very like low level, like anybody can understand what Paco is explaining. And as you're watching the video and listening to what Paco says, just think about what part can I, or am I willing to help in this?
Right.
There's a lot of work that can be done, even if it's as simple as, you know what, I don't want to do any of that, but I'll wash the traps for you, because at the end, we still got laundry. We still got laundry. We still have, the traps that need to be washed, all the things.
Yeah.
That's a huge help. So, I mean,
we have a lot of
laundry. As I'm sure you all do.
Yes.
Laundry. Just look at everything and just, how can you help? We're a community and we all need help. And so just find your place. And it could be, for you, it might be like, oh, that's minute in comparison to what Rachel or Cindy does.
That doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You don't realize how much help you help, not Cindy, not Rachel, but El Paso, our community. And that's the important part for us.
Right. I mean, just, our secretary, Anita, she does all of our scheduling. She collects all of our intake forms, because we track every cat in our database.
Oh, wow.
So we have wonderful board members, Andrew and Sochi, who Sochi's our creative director. And so anything that you see, which you see, these are new t-shirts. These are limited edition. And they're the El Paso Gatitos. So,
super cute.
Yeah. The Chihuahua guy, what's his name?
Chico.
Chico's great, but the Gatito's better. So, so you can actually buy these on our social media. That's a way to help us, because you get something cool that you can wear, and that donation, goes to us. But there's lots of ways to be able to help. And so she does all of our creative direction. She works all those fundraisers. She does all the fundraising coordination and all of that. And Andrew is he's our angel, because he built our website, our database. He does all of our we all enter data, but he compiles everything so that we can write grants and all of those things. So there's lots of things to do. If you can't go out into boots on the ground in the community and trap, that's okay. We might need a kitty Uber, as Cindy calls it, where people can just drive the cats to and from the shelter for their surgeries. You know, or if you have a spare, you know, bedroom or bathroom that you're not using, or a laundry room that's pretty temperature controlled, maybe those cats can just hang out in their traps with you for a day or so, you know, and that's great. We have a cat station that I added onto the back of my garage, and it's where we house all of our traps. You can wash them there. That's where we do the laundry, all of our supply kits. We have all of our folders that I mentioned that we make. So we need help in a lot of areas. But if, you know, you can't do those things, you can always share our information on your socials. You can donate. We have an Amazon wish list, or you can donate monetarily. There's lots of ways to get involved, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I always tell people too when I'm out in the community. They say, "Oh, well, I don't have time to, do anything." And I get it. I don't have time to volunteer outside of, this job and having a kid and having 5 dogs and, all this. It's hard. It can be hard, but there definitely is other ways that you can still support your cause. So I really encourage people to go to your website because I have been on there and it's amazing. It has a lot of great educational content. And of course I'm the education coordinator. So I'm all about education, all about, informing people. I go out there into the schools and I think education is so, so important for people. And, I think you kind of mentioned it, Cindy, in the beginning, like if you know better, you do better. That's kind of like our whole thing here, is just if you know better, you do better. It's okay if you maybe didn't do the right things, before, but now you know about it. Now you have the information, the education that you need, and now let's do something.
And we know that other people don't know what we know.
Yeah.
And so that's why we like to educate people. And so she works really hard to make the education interactive, to make it fun, to make it understandable. Because we can sit around, you and all of us here at the shelter or whatever, and talk about animal welfare in terms that people don't understand.
Exactly.
So we try really hard to keep it, simple so that you do know better after you've watched Paco. You understand, oh, that's what that cat was doing.
Yeah. To us, it's just this. Like, it's so simple of a fix for us,
and
but
people
for
are
people
looking at you like me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what does that mean? So I think I love your website. I think it's so, it has a lot of great content on there. And I think it's important for people to go and learn more, expand your knowledge. And I think it's super, super important for people to learn about TNR. Because like we've discussed, it's really a community, issue. And it's a community solution that we can all work on. So and I guess how else can people connect with you all? Is there, I know there's volunteer opportunities, so how would they reach out to you all to to do anything that you might need?
On socials.
On Facebook, Instagram. You can also send us an email. We have our email listed on our website. I believe it's info at El Paso
No, it's
TNR.
just El Paso TNR, El Paso TNR at gmail.com.
Okay.
And then if you can also send an email directly through our website. And I think that's the info one. Yeah, but it all goes to one place.
Right.
And then you can DM us on our socials. And if you have like needs for TNR, if you just DM us Paco please, all one word, it'll automatically send you what where to choose from as to what in terms of your need is. But if you want to volunteer, and you don't have to volunteer to fix your colony.
Yeah.
So if you want to fix your colony, come on over. We'll totally do that. But if you would like to volunteer and help, maybe we have a lot of elderly colony managers that need help with actual TNR, where the volunteer does go out to do the trapping, or does at least take the traps to the colony manager, or drive the cats, like I said, to the surgeries and things. We definitely need that kind of help too.
Okay.
So they can contact us any of those ways.
Okay, awesome. And is there anything else that you all would like to add about TNR, about your organization? Just anything that you would like to say?
If you're willing to help, we're more than willing to teach you.
Yeah. And you don't have to know anything.
Right.
We didn't know anything.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
You just gotta have that drive to want to learn, and we're here to support you all the way. And the more people we have, the more we can help in our community, because we are a small group. There's probably like maybe 7 of us, if we're lucky, that help El Paso. And if we have more people that are helping, we can get a lot more done for the colony managers and, more importantly, for the cats.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, we just want to thank you all for your partnership and everything that you do outside of, this organization, because it really does help us at the end of the day. Because like I said,
you guys help us. You have no idea.
Exactly.
You have no idea what your all's partnership means to us. I mean,
it took us a long time to get here, Jessica. Now we're going to go into waterworks. And I never thought I would be able to get us here. And I did. We did.
Or Cindy was the driver, though, I will say. Yeah.
But we are internally grateful for everything that you guys do to help us.
Thank you. We're here for you all, and you help us so much too. I mean, just having you here on this episode and hearing all the great work that you guys are doing, it really does help every animal in El Paso. You guys are doing really great work, and you're helping people, and maybe our community doesn't know that, but now hopefully with this podcast and really getting that out there, people will come to you guys and try to help out as much as they can, because you guys are doing amazing work, and you're helping so many cats out there and so many people as well. And it's really great to have this partnership with you all. So I appreciate all the work that you guys do. You're doing so much.
One thing you were asking, like if there was one last thing, and
yes.
I would say one thing is come get involved with us, because you never know who you're going to meet. And Alyssa, who works here at the shelter, she was one of our very first volunteers. Came to our volunteer meeting, literally like the very first one. And because her name starts with A, or her initials, she was the first person I called. And so, but we have. I mean, we never would have met otherwise, probably. Right? And how would we have known that we have such equal interests? And you'll make really good friends. You just will. And these are, as Cindy always says, we want TNR to be beyond our generation.
Yes. And it will, because of the work that you guys are doing and all the work that you're putting out there, all the education that you're putting out there. Maybe we don't see it in like data, because I, as an education coordinator, I know that I'm changing, people's, I guess, minds about animals, but I might not see that until they're older. But I know that you guys are doing the same. You're educating, and you're out there changing people's lives and changing the cats' lives. The most important thing, because I know us all as animal welfare professionals, that's what we really are here for. But with animals comes people. So well, I thank you guys so much for joining us for this episode. We definitely touched on everything that I think the community needs to know, and I thank you guys for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here to talk all about that, because kitten season is coming, and the work never stops. Work never stops, especially now. But thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time. Of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to check out El Paso TNR's website. And if you can help, yes, buy that shirt. It's so cute. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next time.